face was dripping with sweat, and my stomach was starting to cramp. This was the moment where I first heard the phrase, embrace the suck. My basketball coaches were constantly yelling this at me and my teammates as I endured one of the hardest basketball practices I've ever done. Although at the time, I thought it was just a cliche thing they might have said to try to get us through that tough practice, as I look back on it now, it means so much more. Not just in basketball, but in life. Today I'll be going over why we need hard times in our lives, how they can allow us to grow, and how we find happiness in them, and how it becomes the best version of yourself. Now when most people think of things that suck, they may think of anything, from maybe doing a 5-page paper in history, all the way to getting fired from your job. But why do we need these things in life that suck? The founder of the American Civil Liberties Union said that character is not achieved by ease and quiet, it develops through pain and suffering. This is absolutely true. We all have our own trials and sufferings in our lives, and they're all unique to all of us. But without them, how can we experience the true joy that life has to offer? For example, when I was a kid, I loved Christmas. I loved everything about it, from the smell of cookies to the sound of Christmas carols playing in the background of my family's annual pool tournament. But let's imagine for a second, it was Christmas every single day of the year. All 365 days, I would wake up to the smell of cookies, and all 365 days, I would play in that pool tournament. Now, even though I'd probably win every single one, after the third or fourth day, it would start to get old. Now, I know this is kind of a childish and extreme example, but life is the exact same way. Without those hard moments in life and those struggles, it doesn't allow us to truly experience the joy life has to offer. But now, it's easy for anybody to have joy in the easy times in life, but how can we have joy in the hard times too? As many of you know, most of the time my life is spent playing sports. In the book Outliers, it describes how it takes over 10,000 hours to perfect a skill. All those hours in the dedication, whether it be in the gym, on the field, or on the court, all for that one moment while we're actually in the game. Now, even though the game is the whole reason for playing, there is so much other joy that can be found, even in those hard times in sports. So, when we need to find joy in hard times, we need to live in the present. James Aiken, an advisor at North Atlantic University, describes that to find joy in hard times, we need to live in the present. And to live in the present, it's harder, it's easier said than done, but there's 3 simple steps we can take. The first step is to look at the positive instead of the negative. Now, I know this is absolutely easier said than done, especially right after something bad happens. But we need to start off small. For example, in the first football game my junior year, I fumbled twice during the game. And if I just would have looked at that for what it was, it would have been a negative experience and I wouldn't have had any fun. Or I could focus on some smaller positive things that made the game fun. Like I didn't have any penalties, or the fact that my team won. Another way we can build a life living in the present is by building encouraging relationships with the people around us. During that same football game, after I fumbled the second time, even though myself, I was feeling down and I didn't really know what to do, the encouragement and positive energy from my teammates was able to lift me up and get me past that and allow me to live in the present. But what about those times where it feels like there's no one there? You're all alone and you just don't know what to do. There's nowhere to turn. I know I said we need to live in the present, but the past and future can be an influence on our life too. Maybe we can look to the past and you remember that time you beat the adversity and you came out better because of that. And you can use that as motivation and encouragement for what you're facing now. Or maybe if you feel like you hit the absolute rock bottom in life, there's nowhere else to turn. You can look to the future and you can say, there's no possible way to go anywhere but up from here. Now all this is great, fighting through pain, becoming the best version of ourselves, but why do we need this to truly embrace our full potential in life? Pressure builds diamonds. Most of you have heard this, whether it be in science class or even from coaches, but this is absolutely true. Even though we all have pains and we all have pressures in our lives, we need those to become the best version of ourselves and to fight through the adversity in life. I've been blessed in many ways in my life, but I've also had my share of trials and tribulations, just as all of you have too. From struggling with confidence at a young age to being told I'd miss my senior year of football, I've been through a lot. But without these experiences, it would not truly allow me to become the best version of myself that I believe I am today. Now I know this is hard, but we need to start off small. And by doing those 3 steps of living in the present, building encouraging relationships, and focusing on the small good things instead of the hard bad ones, we can all become the best version of ourselves. Now today, I went over why hard times are important in our lives, how to embrace them and become the best version of yourself through them, and how it's important for me to become the best version of myself. So now I know for a fact, the next time that my legs are starting to go numb, the next time my face is starting to drip with sweat, and my stomach is starting to cramp, that I will get through it, and I will become the best version of myself, because there's simply no other option. But it will not be easy, and it will suck, but that's why we all need to embrace our own suck in life.